start by sharing my screen, and hopefully this will work. If it doesn't, then we can again see what's going wrong. Hope all of you can see my screen. Just please confirm if you can see it, then we can proceed.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Okay, great. So what I will be today, it's a short, it will be a short discussion because most of we have not yet started any programming as say. So we would just be discussing a little bit on the assignments for both this time and also the assignment from the previous week, and then we can just drill over that, and this will be a short session. I don't think it will be more than 30 minutes or so if you guys do not have any questions, but obviously it can go long as long as if you have some questions, then I'm happy to clear those doubts. Okay, so by the way, I forgot to introduce myself. I am Alankar. I am a PhD student at Indian Institute of Science, and I am happy to conduct this TA session and also clear up any doubts that you might be having regarding this course, and especially concerning the assignments and programming in general. Okay, so let's get started to this. So let's get started with the previous year's assignment 1 for week 1 of this course. So I guess I'm on the right web page for this. So these were the questions which were asked last year, and we can discuss this, and then if you have any doubt, then again we can discuss more on that as well. So let's start. So the first question is, which type of device is a computer webcam? So this is an input device, because with webcam you have the video feed that goes into the computer, and I guess it's also quite easy, and if any of you have any doubt regarding that, then please ask, then we can discuss this in more detail, right? And before I also, one more thing which I also plan to do is also show you how you would set up your environment and other things for running C or C++ codes. Specifically this course is about C, so we will be writing C codes, and for me I personally prefer using VS Code, but it's up to you to use anything that you wish. I would just show you briefly how you can install VS Code and set it up for C, but obviously you are free to use whatever you wish, but that's something which I can show in terms of setting it up. Then I think you will be prepared for week 2 when there will be some serious programming that we will be doing, right? Okay.
I have one question.
Yeah, sure, please go ahead.
So what we should the requirements in our PC for using the VS Code software?
Oh, so it depends on which operating system you are using. If you are using Linux, then or Linux or Mac, then you need to have the GNU compiler suite installed. You'll get the instructions of doing that. I can also share a link in the chat box which you can get it later. While if you are using Windows, then you will have this Microsoft Visual Studio Community Edition, which is free, so you have to download that and just set up VS Code. So I'll show it if you are interested. Okay. Does that answer your question?
Yes, sir. Yes.
Okay. Okay, so next, going to the next question here, what set of instructions provided to an electronic machine to perform a task? Obviously it's programming, and that's what this course is all about, so I think we will be doing a lot of programming throughout the entire 12 weeks of this course, right? And now, which of the following languages does a computer understand? So it only understands the binary language because it's 0 and 1, and it's up to the compiler or the interpreter, whatever you are using, to convert the thing that you write in other high level languages to the binary language, because that's basically the executable which you then run. Okay, so then which of the following is known is made up of binary coded instructions? So obviously machine language, so it's just same name for binary and machine language are often used interchangeably because that's what the machine understands. So this is will be the right option is D. And algorithm, I think there was a lecture on week 1 about covering about algorithms, and so it's basically the set of instructions or that is used, or the rules that a computer needs to follow for solving some problems. It can be some taking input from the user or doing some calculations or something else as well. So then this option is the right option is C, basically here. And when you have an algorithm which is shown pictorially, then that is what is a flowchart. And I think there is also which one? Lecture 3, which was all about this flowchart and expressing algorithms to flowchart. There are several, not several, but I would say a handful of symbols which mean specific things in a flowchart, and I think if you have gone through the video, it was pretty self-explanatory in there. Okay, so coming to question 7, what are the most appropriate statements? So you see, I think D is the appropriate statement in here because the first part is actually answered in the previous question itself, that the flowchart is a diagrammatic representation of the algorithm, whereas pseudocode is like just a way in which a simplified explanation of the algorithm step by step is done in just normal human language, English for example, in here, right? So this is the right option for this is D, whereas if you look at the other things, it's that's not the right option. And I think this was also pretty well discussed in this pseudocode and this lecture 3. Okay, so coming to more on flowcharts. So here you see here is a flowchart which takes a value of uppercase N from the user, where in this case.
You are not audible. Please unmute yourself.
Oh, somehow I got muted. Sorry. Sorry. Somehow I got muted. Okay, so you see, it takes an input from the user in number 8, and here you see there is an algorithm which is expressed in terms of flowcharts, and in this flowchart you see the number uppercase N is read as 6, and then you iterate through. So this thing in here where there is this statement and there is this iteration which is going on. But if you see for this specific case, when N is 6, your I starts with 1, and so your 1 is greater than or equals to 6, then this is false. So you just go in here and you just print X, and therefore the value of X is whatever the value you have started with or initialized X with, and so it is 1. So the answer here is 1, and the loop actually never executes. So if you had something else in here, then the loop would have executed, but since you do not have it, your loop doesn't execute. So the answer here is 1. But yeah, if you have any doubt, then I'll just pause here for 1 or 2 minutes, and you can have a look at yourself and then ask any questions that you might have. Okay, I guess this was pretty easy for everyone. So we move on to question number 9, where you see this what will be the output of the following algorithm. Again, another algorithm which is expressed in the form of flow chart, and here also you can see that read number x equals to 5 and then x equals to y. So you see there here in this step where x equals to y, this will give rise to a compilation error because your y is not defined in here, because there is nowhere in this algorithm the y is defined before, and so this is not valid, right? And therefore you get a compilation error, and that is the right answer, and rest of these are not correct, right? So and the reason for having a compilation error in here is that your x is defined but your y is not, so you cannot assign any undefined quantity to x. So this gives this step, this is the specific step that gives rise to the error. I hope you can see my cursor where I'm highlighting, right? Can you see the cursor where I'm highlighting?
Yes, sir.
Okay, great.
Yes, sir. Yes, I can see.
Okay, great. And coming to the last question from last year, here you see that the question is which section of the CPU that selects, interprets, and sees the execution of program instructions. So you see it's the control unit. So you in the CPU you have several components. One is the ALU, or the arithmetic and logic unit, where you do the maximum of the calculations. Then you have the memory, which is basically the RAM, where the values of several. Yeah, sorry. Yeah, please go ahead if you have any questions. Okay. Yeah, at any point of time, please feel free to interrupt me if you have any questions, and I will be happy to answer. Yeah. So.
I have one question.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah. So I have one question. Please explain the control unit and aid. Please explain these 3 points.
Which one? Can you? I couldn't follow you.
Yes, sir. Register unit, control unit, and aid.
Yes. I was going to explain that. So ALU stands for arithmetic and logic units. So this is the component of a CPU which does the calculations. So arithmetic calculations or the logical calculations. So logical calculations would be something like this: I greater than or equals to n. So this is a logical calculation, while arithmetic calculations are arithmetic operations, right? For example, I equals to I plus 1, x equals to x multiplied by I. So these are all arithmetic calculations, while I greater than or equals to n, which gives you true or false, are logical calculations. So this is all these is done. This is done by the ALU, while the control unit is the place where which controls how the code will be executed. So you have written a code, then it goes from one line to the other line. So this execution of the code line by line is controlled by the control unit. And then you have the register unit. So at any point of time when you are doing the calculation, then the values of the variables for a brief period of time, this is a temporarily loaded into the register where the calculations are done, right? Because registers are like extremely fast access components which lies in the CPU itself. So that is a register. So whenever you need to do a calculation, you first have to load the values of the variables which are involved in the calculation in a register, and that is the register unit. And memory is basically the RAM. So this is separate from the CPU itself, but is required for any program to run. And this is where the entire program is initially loaded from your hard disk or whatever your permanent storage is to this memory. This is a volatile memory, so as soon as the computer is turned off or your process ends, the memory is cleared, right? But it is a faster access, and even faster access will be the register unit because it physically lies in the chip of the CPU itself. So, and this is required. So there is a two-way, there is a traffic in both cases. One, there is a traffic of your code which is completely getting loaded into the memory initially as you start running the program, and then at every execution of steps, like the variables involved are loaded in your register unit which lies inside the CPU itself. And then there is the control unit which basically controls the execution of your code every line by line, which is already loaded into the memory. And then there is this ALU, or the arithmetic and logical unit, which does all the calculations. So this is basically all the different components. So does that explain?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay.
I am.
Okay. Great. So moving ahead, so let me then move on to some of the questions of this week's assignment. So for example, here you see that the CPU comprises of, so I think this was kind of the repetition of what was asked, what I discussed just now. What are the things that in the CPU there is in the CPU? So you have all of these. Remember that the memory of the RAM doesn't lie in the CPU, needed for execution of a program, but this is outside of the CPU. Physically speaking, you have to put the RAM outside, right? And then there is this now, yeah, this is also like what is an input device. Out of all these, the correct option is the joystick, right? But I doubt who uses this at this point of time. Okay, so question 3, so choose the correct option. Here you see that the one is not the correct option, because testing and debugging is actually easy than assembly language. So that's main reason for different programming languages to be developed, so that you do not have to code in assembly, because it is quite challenging task to test and debug any code that you are writing in assembly. So besides one, all of the others are correct options here, right? And I think there was also a discussion a little bit in the video about bits and bytes. So 1 bit is about exactly 8. 1 byte is exactly 8 bits. So you have that, right? And then moving on. So here is a flow chart which asks you to read 2 numbers and do some operations on it. And I think this is self-explanatory. If you do the operations, you have A equals to 3 and B equals to 2. So B gets updated in this next step in here to 5, because 3 plus 2 is 5, and then again B gets re-updated in here. And if you calculate this, so the new value of B in these cases are 5, and A always remains 3. So you have 3.
We cannot see the screen. Sir, the screen is not visible.
Okay. Let me see. Okay. So can you see the screen right now?
Yes, sir. Okay.
Yeah. Whenever there is some problem, just let me know immediately, because something weird is happening at some point. Okay. Okay. So here, if you come in here, so I think the right answer is 16 in here, because I mean this is A is 3 while B gets re-updated to 5. So 5 times 3 is 15, and then you have 1 added to it, so you have 16 in here, right? And this is a bit you have to work a little bit. This is not challenging, but you just have to do this thing repeatedly. This is a loop where you have a condition, and when n gets updated from starting from 0, n gets updated by 1 every time, and the value is added to sum. So this is basically the sum of an arithmetic progression, and if you do this, you will see going through this loop gives you 28. So print the values of A and B in the flowchart. So this is also like very simple. You start with values of 4 and 6 for A and B respectively, and then you just do all these steps, and then this is basically A getting updated by a new value, then B also getting updated, and then A getting re-updated again, and then you get the values. And you just do the calculations, and this will be simple, right? And rest, I guess, also is quite related to what are the problems which I was discussing from the previous year. So I will just skip through the rest 3, and I hope that you will be able to get it easily. So now what I'll be doing is spending, I think, next 10 minutes or so showing you how you can set up VS Code for running your C or C++ program, but you are free to choose any other way to do it. There are multiple different ways. You can even use a text editor like Notepad or Vim for writing your C code and then run it from the terminal. So it's completely up to you. And okay, so if you want to have VS Code, you first have to download this thing called Microsoft Visual Studio. This is what I am doing. I am on Windows, but you can also do it if you are on Linux. You can use VS Code with GNU-C compiler. So let me do this. So here you see there is this community edition. You can download this community edition, which is free, of course. And from here you just get the downloader. I have already installed it. So if you go to downloads, you will see this VS Studio setup. You can just install this, and once you do this, let me also show you. There is one specific thing that you need to do. So in available thing, let's see, if you click on install, what you'll see is there will be a lot of options. Let's wait for this to load. Cancel. Okay, let me see. Since I have already installed this, okay, I guess since I've already installed this, I am not able to show this to you, but let's see. Okay, right. So you'll see all these options. What you need to do if you want to run C and C++ is just have this installed, desktop development with C++. So this also includes C as well. So you have to just select this and then hit install in here, right? And so the things will be installed. So rest is nothing else you need as far as C for this course is concerned. And then once you have this, you also have to install something called VS Code. So you also do something like a VS Code in here, and this is the Visual Studio Code. You just download this. This is also freely available depending on your platform. You can also have a Mac OS and Linux, whatever you wish depending on your OS. And once you get this installed, what you need to do, this is now what I'm showing you is specifically for Windows. You need to have something called a developer PowerShell. You go in here, and I have one Hello World program set up already. So let me open this developer PowerShell in here, and I'll just cd into my thing. So this is something which I already have a program, and then I'll have something called Hello World. So I have changed my directory in here. So I'm in the specific directory, and I will just hit code space dot. So this launches VS Code for me. So you see VS Code has been launched, and this is what I have, hello world.c. So this is a C code. This is a very simple C code that I have, and here if you click on this, you'll get something called a compiler, which is what you need, and just hitting run, you will get a running of the C compiler in here, right? So this is what has started. So my compiler has started to run, and this is a code like IP5. I have this simple code which is now running. It gets compiled and run in VS Code. So this is a very simple step, and if you are stuck somewhere, please reach out to me. I just shown you very quickly how this works. There are other settings called which gets populated in .vs code directory, and depending on your OS it will be different. So I'll share a link with you in the chat which gives you detailed instructions on how to do it, and if you are stuck somewhere, I'm always there to help you out. So this is how it works, and so you can have any other code that you can write, and this is very simple way to just compile and run it on the go in the IDE itself. But obviously you are also free to do it in whatever way you wish, that what works for you. So this is all I wanted to show on setting up C code, and we will be again going through this in the next week when we are starting to code different programs. So I think this is it, and if you all have any other questions, please feel free to ask right now.
Sir, I have one question more.
Yes, please.
Sir, what is the difference between the computation and compilation?
Okay, so computation is like the calculations which you are doing, right? That is computation, while compilation is you have written a code, but you cannot run that code unless you convert it to something which the machine understands, unless you convert it to binary. So you have to do a compilation, right, of the code, and that is what compilation is, that you convert whatever you have written in a high level language, which can be C, C++, Rust, whatever you have, and you compile that to get an executable which the machine can understand, and that runs. So that is what is compilation, while computation is the actual work that the computer does when it runs your code, right? So for example, adding two numbers is one example.
Okay, sir. Thank you, sir.
Hello, sir.
Yes, yes. Yeah, I can hear you.
Where can I get the recorded lectures?
Recorded lectures of this course
Yes, sir.
or the TA session? Which recorded?
Okay.
We,
No,
we,
the previous class, like,
okay, so that is available in this NPTEL website, right? So in the NPTEL website, all the previous videos are available. I can also share in the chat the playlist. So there is a playlist. Let me open up. There is this YouTube playlist where you can get all the course videos, right? Because this is like a repeat, so all the course videos are already there. So let me copy this and share in the chat right away, so that it's easily accessible. Let's do it. Right. Okay. So I have shared the link to the playlist which has all the course videos, and the TA session will also be uploaded soon after this. And yeah, the role of a compiler is to translate statements to decimal codes. There will be the previous year questions are just for practice, I guess. So you can look up the previous year's courses. There is a link to that as well. I mean, I can share you that link as well. Let me do that. Let's see. I think this one. So in this link, this is basically the course which is again getting repeated this year. So if you go to this link, you will find all the details about the assignments that came from that were asked in the previous year, and also I guess exam questions are also there from previous year. I'm not sure. Yeah, sure, I can. I can join in a group. I mean, but you can also feel free to ask here in this chat, because this chat is something which will be permanently there. So it's easier for me to address questions here on the chat, as I was saying, because this is kind of a place where it permanently stays. Yes, but I don't know what you mean by decimal codes. It's just binary. So yes, the compiler translates, not translates, I would say, because translation means something different, because there is a translator and a compiler. So the word translate actually in computing terms means something different, but all I can say is that you have a program which is written in some high level language. So what the compiler would do is just convert that program which is written in a high level language to a binary code. So binary is just ones and zeros. So that is what it is. The other live sessions that you are talking about is conducted by other TAs. So you have to coordinate with that specific TA who was conducting that particular live session. Question 2. Yes, I mean, if you have any doubt, please feel free to unmute yourself and ask it, so it becomes easier for me to also exactly address your doubt. So please unmute yourself and ask whatever doubt you're having. Okay, let me check with the link. I am not sure, perhaps you have to click on go to course, and if I do go to course, I can see all the week's assignments and things like these from the previous weeks, and perhaps you have to log in and create, and I have logged in right now like this, so perhaps you also need to log in order to access it. Just let me know if that doesn't work out, then I can ask this to the NPTEL organizers for more details. Okay, bitwise operator, so we will be covering this in the next weeks. So
Sir, we can only see week 0 and week 1.
that is for the present course, but for the previous year course, can't you see everything? What the link that I shared is for the previous year course.
Sir, but that link which you have shared, it's not opening.
Okay, and even if you are logged in, still it's not, right? Is that so? Even if you are logged in, still it's not.
Only showing the course detail, but not all assignments and questions.
Okay, so this
same problem here.
okay, so is this go okay, right? Just so this go to course, this thing is not is this button working or it's not?
No, there is not any button.
I see. So perhaps, I mean, then this is and this is for the one which is NOC 23.